Hello and welcome back to the Linux Panic YouTube channel. In this video we're going to be looking at installing and configuring a SSH server on, in this case, Ubuntu, but this will work for other Debian and Ubuntu based Linuxes. So let's get into it. But before we do that, I would like to thank Mr. Darius Roos for being a channel member, where he gets early access to videos like this one right here. So let's get into the main video. Now you're probably wondering, why do I want an SSH server? Well, an SSH server allows for secure connection over networks, internets, and any network from one network to another you can connect to a computer. So, for example, if I were out and about and I was, I don't know, down in London, and I live up north, if I wanted to connect into my Pi hole and see how it's doing, or if I was to try and connect into my network to see how this computer is doing, I would use a SSH server. Now, SSH stands for Secure Shell. It's just a regular shell, but with encryption on top of it. That's why it's called Secure Shell, or SSH. And it allows for secure remote access to another computer from one place to another. Now, it doesn't have to be remote. It can be on the same network or a different network. So let's get into getting it set up. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that our system's up to date. So we just run our update alias. So in this case, it's just update, which gives me update and upgrade. I'll leave a link to the previous video that I made about this up here right now. That will just link to explains this. Now, we're just updating the system here. There's a bit of Zabbix running in the background. There's some kernel headers available for the 6.2.0 kernel. So that will be something interesting that we'll have to do with down the pipeline. Now, an example for OpenSSH, as mentioned, wanting to access something from elsewhere. It also saves you having to be physically plugged into your computer. I have two Raspberry Pis running. One of them just so happens to be my Zabbix proxy, which you can see there is just getting an update. One of them happens to host both of my Discord bots as well. I frequently SSH into them and access them. They have SSH servers on them, but this computer does not have an SSH server on it. So this is the point where I stick an SSH server on this, and then we go through and get it set up and make sure it's working. Now we're finished updating, because it is always a good idea to update your system every time you install a new bit of software, before and after, to make sure you got everything. So now that we've got that, all we need to do is a nice and simple command of sudo apt. Apt if you're a Debian based operating system. If you're an Arch one, it would be pacman-s. If it was Red Hat, good luck. But with this is sudo apt install openssh-server. So openssh-server. Now, what this will do, this will grab down everything we need, and it's going to say the additional packages will be installed, ncurses term, openssh secure file transfer protocol server, and SSH import ID. We say yes to that. Now, what that'll then allow us to do is get everything firewall rules updated for profile Samba, because that's from a previous video as well. If we could get Samba working, which we could not because Samba. But now that we have that, we need to enable the SSH server and then make sure it's running. So first things first, we want to do a check to see if it's running first. So sudo systemctl system control status openssh. As we can see, it's not found, but if we do openssh server, again, not found, but that's fine, because as we can see, it is there. Now, you've got a couple choices. It's SSH or OpenSSH server, but in this case, it's SSH. If we were to restart this, it wouldn't be running, because we need to enable it. Enabling the SSH server will then allow it to boot from startup and be running every time. Now, that's why it's always good to enable stuff you want to be continually running. So to do that, it is sudo system control enable SSH. As we can see here, it's now synchronized the state of the service with system v server script in that particular location, and it has also executed the same thing for systemd system v install. And now that is now enabled, so that is now running when we wanted to. So if we were to again check the status, as we can see here, nothing has changed. It's just giving a general rundown of the system. Now, if I were to, we're going to have to perform some voodoo magic here. If I were to do connect into this Pi, bearing in mind we now have the openssh-server installed, what we want to do is SSH nick 2.168.1.47. This is the point where we then SSH back into the system where it was SSH'd from. Now, this is taking a while because it's asking for the key it needs to get access to. Now, it's only taken a while because it's a 8-year-old Raspberry Pi. It is struggling. But in this, we'll connect to the newer Pi. So we want to just exit. And we want to do SSH Pi at 2.1.67. And again, we want to do SSH nick at 192.168.1.47. That'll then say, hey, look, I have access to the public key for you. Would you like it? And it'll then deliver it upon us once it catches up. So whilst we wait, I'm just going to pause it. So because it was taking an age, we'll try it this way. So we want to do SSH nick at 168.1.47. And as we can see here, that works straight away. The authenticity of the host cannot be established because we have never connected to this host before. Now, this is the SSH key to just ensure that we are connecting properly, and it's to ensure everything's fine. If I were to move this operating system to a different IP address and then try to connect to another computer on this IP address, it would go, hey, look, this SSH key doesn't match, it's invalid. So you'll have to go remove the SSH key or do key transfer. We're not going to get in the key transfer, it's pain. So we just want to say yes. It has now been warning, permanently added this to the known list of hosts. Again, if we were to change IP addresses, it wouldn't exactly play fair. But as we can see, we're connected into the system. We're connected in. You see the cycle we have here? So we're currently in a cycle, as we can see here. The last time I connected to this via SSH was June the 24th at 10:32 p.m. But it is now up and running. The server's running. So if we were to do sudo systemctl status SSH, feed it the password. The reason why we need to feed it the password is because we gave it sudo. And as we can see here, we have accepted the password from my own computer to my own computer. Now, because I haven't enabled port 22 pass-through, nothing can get access to it from outside of the network. Only stuff inside of the network can get through, which is fine. But if we were to do, again, quit, we'll log out, exit, we've logged, yeah, we've gone from the main system to the main system. Yeah, it's stupid, but it works. If it's stupid but works, is it really that stupid? So, for example, if you wanted to connect to any server, for example, it would just be SSH at, well, the username, so pi at 1.67. Again, it's just as simple as that. If you were to have a IP, if you have a different IP address for it, and it's expecting it, what you would need to do is replace this with the username for what you're connecting to, and this for the host. Now, again, this IP address will differ if you're connecting to outside a network or you have anything other than a Class C IP address range. But right now, it is up and running, and it is all good. If we were to do sudo systemctl, check it here. So sudo systemctl status SSH. As we can see here, there was a remote connection reset by peer and connection reset by host. As we can see here, it's accepted. It's fully working and running away. As we can see here, it has taken up a total of 1 hour 4 minutes of the CPU time, even though it has an active runtime of 1 minute 4 days, or 1 week 4 days, which means that's how long it's been using the system resources. I guess it's been awake for that entire time, but it's what it's actually used during that entire time. So if we again exit, we're back to the main system. It is as easy as that. Now, you have now successfully installed and configured an openssh server. I didn't mean to say configure. We've not done it on any configuration. That will be for a later video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, maybe consider subscribing, ring that notification bell so you can get notified of videos when they go out. As well as maybe consider becoming a channel member like Darius Roos and the 6 other people, or 5 other people he gifted subscriptions to, who have not yet shown up. I would thank them, but YouTube's being YouTube. Anyway, I would like to thank you very much for watching. I have been Nick, you have been amazing, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.